I should be live right now. Yeah, I'm live.
I mean, you can debunk a video, bro.
I should be live right now. Yo, Starla, how you doing? Can you all hear me? Chat, can you hear me? I think you should be able to hear me. Good enough. No, I haven't read that because for the last couple of weeks I was not active that much on Discord. Not that I left Discord, just not active on it that much. I'll read it later. Who the fuck made this? Sage, Zeta, Kenki, Lemon, Sky, Alex, Haku. Yeah, Akusa is not fucking tier 1. He's better than me, but he's not fucking tier 1. Drip Sauce tier 5. Wow. What a fucking shocker that is. At least I'm in the right fucking tier. That's good enough for me. So what should we do today? Oh yeah, this video. How about I react to this? I'll make a separate video on this topic because I already watched this and I had some problems with this. This dumbass. If they were non-canon, why would the fucking show, animate the exact same stuff? Webcomic Saitama actually beats Kid Goku. Even both of them are fucking gags. I really need to download this game, bro.
The Monster Association of One Punch Man versus the League of Villains of My Hero Academia. These are two groups or organizations that seeks to fully eradicate the heroes, composed of the strongest and the most heinous individuals in their series. In today's video, given how strikingly similar they are in ambition and strength, we're pitting these two evil factions against each other to see which one reigns supreme. We've already made One Punch Man's as-class heroes versus My Hero Academia's top pros video that you should go and check it out. But before that, I'd highly appreciate if you guys destroy the subscribe button and the notification bell for more of these One Punch Man videos. Thank you. The League of Villains is a very dangerous and villainous organization composed and led by both All For One and Shigaraki Tomura. Their ultimate goal is to fully destroy hero society and create a world where villains can act freely without any obstacles and oppression. They're certainly the main antagonist of the series that I personally did not enjoy at the start but grew on me chapter by chapter. Now, similar to the Monster Association, there obviously exist levels and hierarchies within their ranks. Most of them can obviously fight, but conversely to the monsters, strength isn't really the defining criteria to be placed in a higher rank. The Vanguard Action Squad, for example, contains some characters that can be useful by skills and tricks, but aren't really that strong in a general sense. You have Mr. Compress, Spinner, Toga, Magne, Mustard, and even Twice. They're certainly very weak with lackluster durability, but some of their abilities are insanely useful and adaptive in so many situations. Twice is the perfect example, possessing a broken unbroken power that allows him to create an army of clones of himself. And some would even argue that it's even possible to create armies of his comrades fully equipped with their quirks and physical strength. The point I'm trying to make here is that even when it's very apparent that some of these villains are certainly not impressive in the strength department, they're still very formidable in certain situations. You see, the biggest showcase when it comes to My Hero Academia in terms of strength comes from Izuku Midoriya in chapter 423 and 424,
No, that's not the biggest feat ever done. It's not. And even then, you're like taking it out of context. Deku did that with the embers of One for All, not with the full power of One for All. And he did that to a much weakened All for One than you expect. So no, this is not the best feat nor the strongest feat. There are multiple other feats that I can guarantee are much better than this.
defeating Shigaraki with a smash that changed the weather for a week. This was capped at 42 petatons of TNT, which makes it multi-continental. However, I gotta say that the cap is actually very controversial, as many would say that nothing proves that the radius of that shockwave is the distance between Japan and USA, as the storm is not shown to have reached the United States by the time that Izuku throws his punch. It's certainly a really contentious matter, but you can at the end of the day say that a low-balled Deku would be large country plus, mid-ball would be continental, and highball would be multi-continental. But anyways, narratively speaking, the only characters that has strong statements and indications of remotely belonging on this tier, obviously from the villains that we're including on this video, are Gigantomachia, All for One, USG Nomu, High-End Nomu, and certainly Shigaraki Tomura. Now Shigaraki Tomura and All for One are obvious choices, being that one fought Deku and the other tangled with 100% All Might, who is stated by Midoriya to still possibly being stronger than him. Gigantomachia, on the other hand, is considered to be an even bigger threat than multiple near high ends by Dr. Garaki, the same ones said to nearly surpass the USG Nomu, which was specifically designed to fight All Might at 100% of his power. You see, if you think that Deku in that instant meant that he's just slightly stronger than injured, not prime All Might based on showing this panel of them training together in the beach, then the Nomus would be multi-continental. However, if you think it's the other case where Deku was talking about Prime All Might and that picture of the beach was just thrown there to represent the progress he made to show exactly where he was and where he is now, then the Nomus would be large country level. Obviously,
I don't know how that follows, but I also want to mention one thing, that the Nomus that were studied to, be specifically made to fight All Might at 100% doesn't mean that they can beat him or actually, fight, on parts with him in a matter of actual fight. In other words, I'm saying that the Nomu that fight 100% All Might doesn't necessarily mean that he completely scales to him.
from dividing the force Deku used by 60, but nonetheless, the remaining characters are somehow very weird to scale by My Hero Academia standards. If you can slightly hurt or compete with a multi-continental character, you are by default a multi-continental character. This also talks about Dubby and Muscular, who both has feats that ties them to the high tier character. You see, the case with Muscular, a statement about him was issued by Deku saying that he withstood 100% of All Might's power. Surely that's true, but it doesn't mean he is withstanding the strongest energy All Might can throw. Otherwise, you mean to tell me that this punch is as strong as Deku changing the weather or USA Smash, since obviously that's not the case. All Might's casual punches could be as strong as that, but definitely not the strongest he can exert. As for Dubby, the reason he is included here is because it is stated that his firepower is stronger than his father's, the same one that can harm Shigaraki. I mean, the case is slightly better for Dubby since All For One was very wary of Shoto's half-cold, half-hot attacks and considered them strong. The point I'm trying to make here is that these characters, by the power scaling standards, can be considered as country to continental level characters, with all the league's members possessing abilities and hacks that would be talked about later when discussing how this would go. And as for speed, I've already talked about how similar their speed meta is to the One Punch Man scaling in this video that you should go and check it out.
Yeah, so the problem with that is that I watched this video and he has them around faster than light. But the problem is that the Monster Association, in that arc, no one is faster than light aside from Tatsumaki and Monster Garo. And I'm not talking about the awakened Monster Garo who just recently got up. I'm talking about specifically after the fight with Platinum S and Flashy Flash. He can be arguably be faster than light, but every character before that is not faster than light. Flashy Flash has statement of faster than light, but the problem is there are other statements that contradict that. There are two statements blatantly saying that he can reach speed of light, and the only statement that says that he's faster than light is on the cover page, which you can take it at face value because it's your own opinion, I guess. There's literally nothing I can say about that, but the point is, it's more parsimonious to say that Flashy Flash is speed of light rather than faster than light. And characters in My Hero Academia, from the very beginning, like season 1 characters, have dodged light speed attacks. I'm not joking. If you actually go watch the episodes, actually no, it's not from season 1, it's from season 2, where Mina fights Aoyama. She literally dodged light speed attacks, and those lasers are actually stated to be light speeds. On top of that, Shigaraki, even if you don't want to consider Aoyama's laser at light speed, Shigaraki fought with Star Stripes, I think that's what her name is. She can react and grab light speed attacks, and that Shigaraki was way weaker than the one in the final fight, right? Meaning that the Shigaraki of that fight will be much faster than that, if you do not want to consider the first meta of the light speed. But in reality, My Hero Academia characters are vastly faster than the One Punch Man characters. The only characters that you can even argue for light speed to faster than light speed are Tatsumaki, Monster Garo, and possibly Flashy Flash, who is not really faster than light. There's also another argument that I see that a lot of people use, which is a character named Cockroach, Awakened Cockroach. They use his statement as proof for faster than light speed. But the problem is they take his statement out of context, right? He says that his danger sense, he has an ability similar to spider sense or danger sense, which allows him to, react before someone attacks. It's basically a hockey, danger sense, spider sense, whatever you want to say, which does not qualify for faster than light. Because he dodges or reacts way before someone attacks him, that does not qualify for faster than light speed. The main point is that the My Hero Academia characters are vastly faster than One Punch Man characters, especially the Monster Association versus the League of Villains.
And with all of this being said, can the League of Villains ever hope to defeat the Monster Association?
In terms of raw power, the Monster Association takes this. It's not even close. Like, the strongest character in Monster Associations are Evil Ocean Water, Orochi, uh, Platinum S in terms of raw power. Then there is, what was his Homeless Emperor, or whatever the fuck was his name. In terms of raw power, they are in middle of multi-continental to even planetary, right? While the My Hero Academia characters are multi-continental to moon level. I will make a separate video on this, but for now let's just go with his takes. In terms of speed, however, it's the opposite. My Hero Academia character takes that.
Now, conversely to the League of Villains, the main combatants of the Monster Association consist of the strongest in the organization. This was stated 2 times by monsters like Super Mouse and Sludge Jellyfish, concluding that the cadres are the absolute strongest, which means that even the likes of Bug God, Roy Ripper, G5 and Awakened Cockroach vastly pale in comparison to the likes of the executives. Although there are exceptions, such as Galewind and Hellfire Flame, who are not.
I agree with Yaxin on this. These two are heavily underrated, and especially in the later chapters, they become jokes. However, people do not understand that later, even though they become joke, they upscale other characters like Sonic, Flashy Planet, etc.
Not cadres for unknown reasons, but can certainly compete on that level, and Phoenix Man, who gradually increased in levels due to his busted ability. However, in order to establish how strong they are, it's very necessary to understand some inverse scaling regarding the monsters as a whole. You see, dragon level monsters should be operating from mountain to island level of AP. This is derived from Vaccine Man, who can tank his own City Plus attack in his base form, still considered much weaker than Carnage Kabuto, who should be on a similar tier to the likes of Vomited Fury Ugly, which means that characters like Neon, Gums and Black S should be mountain to island level in terms of attack potency, or can harm others on that level with tactical approachment. High tier monsters like Goketsu, Rover and Elder Centipede, who are considered as the top 3 in the Monster Association, should still be relative to each other. Goketsu scales above Z-Series Meteor, which would have destroyed a country-sized city. Rover survived the punch from Saitama that generated a shockwave so powerful it led Orochi to believe that Saitama was the one who defeated Goketsu. And Elder Centipede was so durable and strong that Bang considered using a Awakened Breath just to stand a chance against him. All of these informations function to convey that the big 3 should be operating from large island to country level of attack potency. You can even add Homeless Emperor to this equation by accounting for Psycho's statement believing that a team that consists of him and Black S can defeat anybody, with interpreting.
Yeah, so here's the issue with this, right? Psychos is not a really good reliable source, especially Genos and Psychos. These two are not reliable sources. They made a lot of glazing statements, especially when you consider the fact that literally within the manga they can't get contradicted by literally seconds later. For example, Genos stated that it will take the entirety of S-Class plus Saitama to defeat Gogetsu. I think that's what his name was, right? And as for Psychos, you just said that Homeless Emperor and the Black S combined can defeat anyone. These are purely hyperbolic statements and glazing statements. That's why I don't use Psychos and Genos statements purely, unless it's supported by other medias and stuff.
that Homeless Emperor would be doing most of the heavy lifting with his spherical beams. Gale Wind and Hellfire Flame should also be country level or above if you use the one-shot meta for drawing blood from Flashy Flash, a character that took the unperfected Godslayer Fist hand-on from Monster Garu. And last but not least, Phoenix Man, a character that fought Brave Giant, a weapon specifically made to fight monsters much stronger than Elder Centipede. Now, the strongest monsters in the association are definitely classified as Dragon or higher. These are individuals that narratively scale much higher than the others. If Black S decided to
I do want to mention that just because one character is stated to be dragon or higher doesn't mean that he's equal to every other character that is dragon or higher, right? Take Boros for example. He can wipe the floors out of the entirety of Monster Association arc, yet he's classified as a dragon level threat. And according to Murata, he's higher. The point is, do not take these as a justification to say that one scales to another. There is a huge unquantified level between them.
merge all of his cells, he'd be creating Platinum S. Being so confident in his abilities, he thinks he can defeat the strongest creature in the world, King, who at that point to the public is a character that can one-shot Elder Centipede and is considered by many to being a monster even above the likes of Tatsumaki. Platinum S should also be...
There's a lot, yeah, I have a problem with that second statement, him being above Tatsumaki. First of all, like, the one claiming that, does he even know how strong Tatsumaki is? Because she shows her real power in the Monster Association arc, right? And that statement came way before the Monster Association arc. So I don't know if you can take that statement at face value. Even then, if you want to take that statement at face value, the best feat you can go by is Tatsumaki, you know, pulling a meteorite from the space to kill a giant Godzilla-like creature. I don't know what his name was. Basically, and that feat I think is around country level to continental based on your calculation. The point is, I don't know if that statement is countable for accuracy like that. So I don't know. If you want to take that statement as face value, sure, go ahead. I don't mind. But the problem is, there are things you need to add, like, does he know how strong Tatsumaki really is, and etc.
Scaled a one-shot tier lower than Sage Centipede, who is multi-continental, which means that
No, he's not multi-continental. I know the rotation calculation was done and it was calculated around multi-continental, but turns out that calculation was wrong. When I make my own topic on this video, when I make my own video on this topic, I will explain how that feat was not multi-continental.
Platinum would either be multi-continental or continental at the very least. We also have the Monster King Orochi, who can exert kinetic energy relative to 5,000 exatons of TNT, which makes him small planetary, and Psycho Orochi, who can casually slice continents with her beams. These are still narratively considered a similar threat to the likes of Evil Ocean Water and Sage Centipede. So the point I'm trying to make here is that these dragon or higher characters are scaled between continental to small planetary levels. Now, the low forces of the Monster Association are composed of demons who scale above large town to city levels of AP, and tigers who are considered as fathers in the One Punch Man verse. With all of this being said, can the Monster Association overcome the League of Villains? Now, when you say the Monster Association versus the League of Villains, you aren't simply talking about the main forces, which are the Cadres versus the Vanguard Action Squad, but rather a full-on fledged war between the two organizations. The main course of analysis shows the League of Villains' advantage in numbers if you account for the Meta Liberation Army that has up to 100,000 combatants. Compared to the Monster Association's 500 monsters, it just seems like it's not really a fair fight. However, some would say that maybe the League of Villains has quantity while the Monster Association has quality, since these target level monsters are still strong enough to compete with A-class heroes. But despite the numbers being
Again, going by basically ranking does not quantify for scaling. One A-class hero does not mean that he's equal to others just because he has a higher rank than them. Take Moment Rider for example. He's the strongest C-class heroes, but there are characters below C-class heroes that were literally shown to be stronger than him in terms of pure power. I don't take ranks as, for scaling metas. These are blatantly wrong stuff.
still very overwhelming, it will all depend on the main forces of both parties. If the strongest cannot take out the strongest, an army of fathers just doesn't matter. So we start with characters that just wouldn't make any difference in this battle. Spinner, Toga, Magne, Mustard, and Mr. Compress, while they do possess abilities that would be useful in so many situations.
I just read this Phoenix Man and I remember what I was going to say about him. Now, actually, you know what? First, let's him get to that point. Then I'll explain what I was going to say.
Their actual strength vastly fall behind even the likes of demon level monsters. Their speed also isn't really tied to My Hero Academia's high tiers, which means monsters like Roy Ripper or Awakened Cockroach would be able to deal with them easily.
Not really. Again, if you go with the actual scaling speeds for My Hero Academia, then Season 2 characters are basically humiliating all of them. Every character from will upscale from Mina's light speed dodging attack stuff, easily making everyone faster than light. And no one, I can guarantee you, no one before Monster Claro that fought Platinum S is faster than light.
Toga's ability to transform by drinking her enemy's blood is surely useful in battle, but it's not clear if her core can assimilate the DNA properties of monsters far different than humans.
Now, this is my own opinion, but I think she should be able to do that. Because from what I remember, quirks are basically mutative abilities. And that's, I think, what was explained in the manga. I don't remember quite well, but I think that was the case. And monsterization is basically mutation. It just mutates your DNA and turns you into a monster. And I think going based on that, her quirk should be able to do that.
On the other hand, can also be dealt with quickly before he uses his quirk, but if he manages to do so, he could easily be countered by Black SS Cells, who has more numbers and prove to be much more durable. However, if he starts making infinite numbers of his allies with their abilities intact, things would be much more difficult to the Monster Association. But since we didn't see him do that, we have no reason to assume he performed that feat in battle, which means
I agree with this, but do note that you just can't, dismiss this statement. Now, actually, sorry, what my main point is that you can't just say that just because he didn't do that, he can do that. The point is you just can't dismiss something just because someone hasn't done that.
Means that the only characters that can make a difference in the League of Villains are the Nomus, Shigaraki, Ridestro, Gigantomachia, and All for One. These guys are either large country level or straight up multi-continental for scaling to Deku's final punch. Others like Dubby and Muscular are in this bracket but still very questionable. So here's the thing, while the cadres are extremely strong, they don't actually scale to this level. Goketsu vs Gigantomachia, a battle between spiky haired monsters, would certainly be an amazing fight, but Gigantomachia is just the superior monster. The Nomus can also destroy characters like Vomited Fury Ugly, Neon, and disperse evil natural water in his initial state. The only character that can stand a chance against them is Phoenix Man with his resurrection and reanimation ability. If they do not figure out how to defeat him without allowing him to resurrect, he'd eventually be strong enough to overpower the whole league. He'd be like
And this is the point that I was going to make, right? The problem is that he's not facing, one person this time. He's facing an army. He's not facing just a single person this time, like he was against Child Emperor. He's facing an army, and they have common sense. If they kill him 1 or 2 times, they will understand that he grows stronger by dying. And based on that, they can just, trap him in an area. Like, take, what was his name again? Spinner or something, I forgot his name. He can just trap him. The point is, he's not facing a single person this time. So there are much more people, and they have common sense on how someone's abilities works once they see them 1 or 2 or 3 times. And I don't think he's going to get pushed that far, considering he was defeated by simply getting tickled. On top of that, before he can even get stronger and become planetary and stuff, people will already deal with him before that shit happens. But that depends on who he's fighting. But if we're taking the top characters, then yeah, he's getting no gift before he even gets to that level. Any dragon level monster can neg My Hero Academia? No, they cannot. We can debate this actually. What, you and I can debate this later. Yeah, so I did read this, but I didn't respond earlier. No, the higher dimensional, they are not higher dimensional. The divine beasts are not higher dimensional. They just have divine power within them. That's why they are called divine beasts. If they were higher dimensional, they wouldn't be even like lower dimensional characters wouldn't be able to see them. And within the manga, it was literally shown that they were able to perceive them. So no, they're not higher dimensional.
like Sanjin Woo from Solo Leveling, able to resurrect every dead corpse on both parties and keeps getting stronger after every awakening. However, he could still be hard countered by Shigaraki's decay ability that would destroy his costume before resurrecting, which means that the main forces of the League of Villains should be able to take down the main monsters of the Monster Association. However, the dragon or higher threats are what can make a difference in this battle. Let's say Black S decided to merge, Evil Ocean Water absorbed part of the ocean, Sage Centipede emerged from the ground, and Orochi started sucking up energy from the core of this earth. It would be something so overwhelming that the League of Villains just wouldn't be able to handle.
And here comes the speed part. I already established how the My Hero Academia characters are vastly faster than them, and on top of that, they're not dumb enough to let them charge up their attacks. They're not that dumb to begin with. For example, take Orochi. If he decides to, absorb energy from the core of the planet, all the characters with enough power will wipe him before he can, actually charge up his attacks. They are just vastly faster than him, Orochi. Now, evil ocean water, you can argue that he can defeat everyone, but that depends that he merges with the ocean in the first place. Again, speed is also a huge factor in this fight. And when I make my own video on this topic, I'll explain how fast My Hero Academia characters are compared to One Punch Man characters.
Strictly speaking, the League of Villains still has tricks up their sleeves to counter these above dragons. Dabi can try to melt evil ocean water. Whether he succeeds or not, he can still try. Shigaraki can use decay to eliminate most monsters, and All for One would search for effective quirks in his arsenal that could help overcome the situation. However, the Monster Association also has answers to everything they can do. For example, evil ocean water would not be affected by decay, and Platinum S can escape it with his super speed.
This is not faster than light. I can tell you this. This is not faster than light feet. It is contradicted multiple times. Matter of fact, this constellation was done when they needed to, accelerate within the already done constellation. They at best are speed of light. They at best are speed of light, not faster than that or slower than that. I'm talking about specifically about Flashy Flash, Monster Garo, and Platinum S. No, they're not faster than light. We can debate on this on Discord if you want. He's not even reaching light speed, let alone faster than light.
Psychos can also use psychic barriers to shield them from that ability, and not to mention the Gaia Cannon that would certainly obliterate every single villain in the battlefield. Dabi's Self-Explosion Blast has a radius of 5 kilometers, which wouldn't even cover for Evil Ocean's eyes. The point I'm trying to make here is that surely the League of Villains are extremely strong, but when the Monster Association starts to use their best assets, the League's chances starts to diminish drastically. And even if you start comparing their numbers with scaling them to Deku's final punch on a good day, it just wouldn't look good on the League of Villains. The only way they can compete is to plan it carefully from the start and use decay non-stop on the battlefield, but then Psychos would fly and consume Orochi like it happened in the manga, and then you have a monster that can spam 18 Exaton's multi-continental plus beams towards the enemy with the ability to shield herself from decay using her psychic barriers. So at the end of the day, surely the Nomus and the Vanguards with high bolt scaling can compete with the Monster Association, but once the dragon or higher threat level monsters start to emerge, they wouldn't have any chance to compete. Thank you so much for watching, and please take good care.
The Monster Association arc will definitely win against the League of Villains, but it will be an extremely high difficult fight. Yeah, that's the point. He isn't faster than light. His ability is to, get a danger sense before someone can actually attack him. Of course, he's literally the best One Punch Man scaler aside from Satori, YouTube, and I forgot his name, but there are at least two people that are better than this guy. Uh, uh, but he does make good level. He does fucking cook. He makes a lot of good content, and he makes definitely good matchups. Valid? Motherfucker, you put me in tier 2. How the fuck is that valid? I'm not even tier 5. No, he's not. He's not the best opium scaler. He's delusional. I have like a beef with him before, but he just ignores it, and so do I, because he's fucking retarded. That guy cannot differentiate the difference between infinite and infinity. Most of the One Punch Man fans clown on him for that. Like, he's stupid as fuck. Oh, my bad. I thought you were being for real. And he's really fucking dumb. Like, he can't even differentiate the difference between infinite and infinity. He thinks both means the exact same thing, even though they both are used in different contexts. It's a completely fake scan because Dragon Ball AF is not canon. Peakest comic ever. Ass. Okay, now this looks fucking dope. Actually, never mind. Goku looks fucking ass here. What else should I react to? There are a lot of retards like that. I have seen them myself. He's. Wait, are you talking about Comic Curator? Because he's one of the biggest glazers of Cosmic Armor Superman. He glazes them a lot. Should I react to another video of his, Boros versus Battle Beast? Even though I already watched that. Oh yeah, between have you seen this new design of Cosmic Garo? Like, it's a new fucking design by Murata. He completely remade Cosmic Garo. Debunk Dragon Ball. I scale Dragon Ball to high complex multiversal at best. What do you want from me? Yeah, that's what I was asking. That's the new design for Cosmic Garo. This is a new design for Cosmic Garo. Have y'all seen this? It's the official new design for Cosmic Garo. I think I have a colored version as well. Yeah, here's the colored version. I mean, if the story already happened. He can't just recreate the entire story from the start now. This is the new official design of Cosmic Garo. Like, look at this shit. There are fucking planets orbiting his fucking fingers. And compared to his previous one, there are fucking, you know, shards in his. And instead of galaxies, it's literally just the entirety of the universe within his body now. I fucking love this design, but I have to say the previous was better because that was more simple to draw. This one is just blazing Cosmic Garo. Like, look at this shit. Cosmic Garo's victims. Yeah, I thought you just said black. Yeah, I'm back. Like 2, 3 days ago, I took my account back from uh, Authenticator. Damn right he is. Like, the design is fucking peak. But it's too late because the story is already like ended. Wish he used this design before the story ended. Like, you know, I already shared my new scaling on him. If he's multiversal, I scaled him because of the spiritual realm of Phoenix Man, and the other one was Empty Voice Blades. Now, there's no definitive way to prove that those are four-dimensional blades right now because the story got retconned, but I think they should be four-dimensional because even though the story changed, the story got retconned, the abilities should still be the same. I mean, not gonna lie, if that was the case, then stuff would have been even worse. Like, a lot of people even wouldn't make sense for their scaling. The ability to cut space itself. Empty Void could cut space, and he could do it like from a higher space, higher dimension. the point is he should be able to do that within the current story as well. And Saitama is stronger than him and should be able to perform the same exact feat that he did in the Redcon story, which was grabbing the higher dimensional blades, which will grant Saitama 4D levels of power, which therefore make him Universal Plus, and applying the uh, uh, infinite growth on top of that, which will make him multiversal. Do note that the infinite growth is just limitless growth for him to grow infinitely. That doesn't mean that he can cross jumps with infinitely. So that's why he's multiversal based on that. According to Murata, according to him, he said in his own opinion, Cosmic Garo can shake the entire universe or destroy it. I think that was his comment. But the point is, the problem is, he said that he needs to confirm this with One, like the actual author of the One Punch Man. He needs to confirm that, meaning his opinion did not actually matter. Unless the one himself says that, his opinion doesn't really matter. But if you say that his opinion can be taken at face value, then that will make Cosmic Garo high multi-galaxy to universal, which is going based on the statement which he can shake the entire universe or destroy it. And Saitama will upscale from that, making him multiversal and etc. That's where Saitama is like multiversal at the very least. That's the point. It the current story didn't show his ability working the exact same way, and I'm not saying that it's literally the exact same thing. I'm just making a assumption that it should have at least the same exact ability as in the Redcon story, not that it literally is the same. I'm just going based on an assumption. I don't know because for one, if you take the, I think he was referencing the squared punch in my opinion because and after and a much stronger Garo. I think he was referencing a much stronger Garo after the squared punch, and the squared punch is calculated to multi-galaxy level, right? And Garo got way stronger after that. So I think he was referencing the strongest version of Cosmic Garo at that point, which would be multi-galaxy level to universal based on what he actually said. I just can't remember accurately what he actually said. What about Orange Cap Boy? He's base Power Boy, so I think he should be at least at the very least should be equal to tier 1 elemental powers who are in the range of continental level, so he should be around that level as well. If you go with my assumptions on the abilities being the same and Phoenix Man's dimension being 4D, then you can get Cosmic Garo and Saitama to around multiversal with their ability to copy and stuff. Now, Cosmic Garo is a hard one to get to multiversal, so I'll stick to universal with him. But for Saitama, he can be argued to multiversal. But if you don't want to go with my assumptions, then he's at best multi-galaxy level to high universal. Sorry, universal at best. If you want to go with my assumption. If you have him at 4D, then you can argue for multiversal, bro. Because 4-dimensional is basically universal plus, which is the ability to destroy space-time continuums. So if you have him at 4D, then you can get him to multiversal. To be honest with you, I still haven't seen a single 4D feat from Pobo Boy. I still haven't seen a single one. And a lot of people that I have seen that use 4D level scaling for Pobo Boy are either by Yi's time ability and stuff and etc., which are not actual, scale are good enough to use for scaling like that. Because for one, they are used specifically in simple areas, and secondly, they don't work on the entirety of area. The point is, I still haven't seen 4D levels of scaling for PowerPoint that is actually accurate. And I have forgotten all the previous comics of PowerPoint, so I guess I have to reread them all once again. This son of a bitch. Okay, I take that back. I take that back. I did not mean that. I did not mean that. Man, I don't know what to do on this stream. I thought Trip Sauce will be active and we can get on like literally voice chat on this, but nope. Slandering Dragon Ball. You do realize you need to get banned for that. Wait, really? Let me check. There, that should do it. Higher with power, higher, far higher with third tier elements, higher with elemental absorption. There it is. Here you go. I'm really gonna need help on this stuff. react to something else. I was asking, should I react to this? So let's do it. Wait, what is this? Boros versus Battle Beast.
When learning a particular craft gets so invested to the point of becoming an obsession, starts to shape your own identity to the point of wanting to become the best, there's only one practical way to proficiently accomplish that goal: challenging the absolute best. Don't get me wrong, you'd still have to require true dedication and conviction paired with hours and years of practice and training, but without this one particular criteria, becoming the absolute best is practically impossible. This is depicted so well in the anime industry to the point of becoming the general plot for a lot of series. Take Isagi from Blue Lock casually risking his entire career just to challenge the strongest, otherwise he would not be able to change. Netero from Hunter x Hunter gets excited to fight the strongest even when it means his definitive death, and Kaido from One Piece who wants nothing but to fight the strongest. However, in today's video, we will be talking about two characters who are already held as the strongest: Battle Beast and Lord Boros. Stick around to find out how this fight would go. In a story that has multiple overpowered monsters with different distinctive specialties, Boros, despite appearing so early on in the series, still remains as one of the strongest characters we have ever seen.
I can guarantee you he still is the strongest character aside from God and Saitama. And maybe Cosmic Garu, because that depends if you take the retcon if you take that story as canon or not, because Saitama reversed the entire shit. The point is, he still is the top 5 strongest character. He's still one of the top 5 people that can actually contend with Saitama. What the fuck was that?
Hello, niggers.
Bro, I'm fucking live and the first thing you said was fucking nigger. What the fuck?
Oh my god. You edit it out.
I'm gonna react to another video right now, cause that's what I'm doing.
Like to being the same as Saitama himself, too strong that now it became boring. Literally dedicated 20 years of his life in search for an opponent that can either give him a challenge or straight up defeat him, only to encounter Saitama who allowed him to achieve what he desired for his entire life. But unfortunately, that's exactly the reason why Boros' true strength is still to this day very hard to quantify, since the only fight he had was against the definitive strongest character in the entire series. You see, for a retrospect, most characters who either fought against Saitama or eventually got one-shotted has multiple factors that establishes their power level or ranking in comparison to a lot of characters. Garou, before inevitably fighting Saitama, had to run through a marathon of heroes and monsters, allowing us to understand in which floor he resides at. Orochi, despite not clearly knowing the upper limits of his powers when he was one-shotted by Saitama, still displayed later on in the series that his ceiling is still inferior to the likes of Tatsumaki. Goketsu, whose strength was compared to Saitama and was described to having cheated powers, confirmed himself that he is still weaker than the Monster King Orochi. But with the Dominator of the Universe, he sadly only fought against Saitama. However, there exists one, or should I say multiple, similar statements that narratively establishes that Boros is a top tier character, which is Saitama acknowledging the fact that Boros is indeed strong, which logically led us to believe that characters like Orochi, Goketsu, and Evil Ocean Water, who didn't get any recognitions from Saitama, are by default below the Dominator of the Universe. Strictly speaking,
Basically, Boros is the GOAT. He's basically the GOAT of the fucking show and the manga.
this is exactly the reason why the emotion of Boros only being multi-continental level is completely ridiculous, with very shaky legs to stand.
Yeah, here's the thing. That's
Hello,
the...
everyone.
Wait a minute.
Yo.
Looks like Drip Sauce is also live. Let's go to the Discord.
What are we doing? What are we doing? No.
Wait,
What are you doing?
wait, are you also live?
No, 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 no.
Okay, okay. I thought you also went streaming.
No. If I go live, like, niggas are gonna wanna like, choose one stream to go to. So I'll go live when you're done going live.
Okay.
Or maybe I should go live with you and debunk a video and then like get niggas to sub to your channel.
Which video will
What do you think?
which video will you want to debunk? Because I'm reacting to a video from Yaxin.
I mean, whatever video. Actually, I don't even think, bro. I gotta record a video. Excusez-moi.
And on, since characters who are narratively weaker than him exhibited strength that certainly sits above shaving off the planet's surface. Not to mention that these same people who say that he is only multi-continental because of that statement completely ignore the fact that Boros was very certain that this attack
What the hell?
I guess I'll react to this video later.
Say that shit again. Anyways, I kind of missed the context. What's happening here?
Nah, we just chilling.
But I'm just getting the scans for this fucking future Gohan video.
Where do you skill him?
I'm doing a composite future Gohan, so I'm scaling him to high universal.
Okay, let's say if you're not scaling, the higher meta for future Gohan, where will you scale him in the lower meta? Like normally people will scale him. Where will you scale him then?
Composite or just regular future Gohan.
Just simple future Gohan.
Oh, no, I'm just gonna scale him to universal because he's squared up with the androids, who are way stronger than Frieza. It's quite easy to scale anybody after the Frieza saga.
I mean, you can scale him to multiversal considering the fact that Frieza in the Namek Saga, actually Goku in the Namek Saga should be way higher than the Garlic Jr. who can create 4D hyperspaces on the low end.
I keep that in mind, actually.
And if you somehow can argue that the hyperspace is 5D, then you can even get him to complex multiversal.
Yeah, I know that. I also get skins for Garlic Junior hyperspace as well for this. But that.
Yo, chat, when they speak, do you hear doubled voice or not? If someone is in the chat, can you tell me when they speak, do you hear doubled voice or a single voice? Exactly what I thought. There's an issue within my mic that whenever someone else speak, you will hear them 2 times because of my mic. So that's why I mute myself sometimes. This is why I double check my OBS studio when I mute myself. This goes offline when I mute myself.
I am an artist. What are you doing? Just making cake. I take it. You okay?
Okay, chat. I have more than enough scan, so I'm gonna be right back. And the all time you have, what y'all do later? Uh,
Man, this stream also went terribly, I think. Not gonna lie, Dojo's domain expansion is his biggest win con. Like no one is escaping from that shit. So if Power Boy gets hit with that, he's done for. He's not getting out of that stuff. Now there now he can skip domain expansion before the domain can hit Popo Boy, which he obviously can since he's vastly faster than Gojo. But if he gets hit by the domain, he's done for. He can't actually escape that stuff. Probably can't be galaxy level because we see the planets and star in the background after he destroyed South Galaxy. That is the dumbest fucking argument you can say. What the fuck? Transcending the concept of space and time isn't outer. You have to prove space entails dimensionality, which there's zero thing to suggest in Dragon Ball. Yeah, so I'm gonna ignore this part because the main issue he just committed is this: transcending the concept of space and time isn't outer. When you're talking about the very concept of space, you are talking all of dimensionality. You are talking about the entirety of dimensionality. So yeah, so it is fucking outer. When you transcend the very concept of space and time, it's outer. I'm not arguing for Dragon Ball to be outerversal. I got Dragon Ball to high complex multiversal at best. So I'm not on that stuff, but yeah. Space in it of itself is limited by context. Nothing suggests that it would mean to transcend in an RF manner under VSBW theory. Why the fuck do you people always appeal to VSBW? Like, they don't own power scaling. They don't own that fucking shit. They just happen to, be more famous for the tiering system. That's it. And even then, they are becoming so fucking stupid that they're confusing immeasurable speed with irrelevant speed. Like, do you know how fucking stupid they have become? They literally remove irrelevant speed because they think immeasurable speed and irrelevant speed are the exact same thing. Like, bro, what the fuck? I think they still haven't brought it back. Let me check real quick. Yeah, so here it is. Infinite. Yeah, they still haven't brought back the irrelevant speed. They think that irrelevant speed and immeasurable speed are the exact same thing. Like, bro, what the fuck? Let's look at their tiers. They also messed up a lot of with their tiers. The original tiers were much better. Wait, what the fuck? This is attack pointed. Now, taking that statement at face value, I don't. Then, yeah, sure, that he can be then massively faster than light. The problem is that's traveling speed, not reaction speed. On top of that, you need to consider the fact that his Adudu spaceship can accelerate when it's traveling. It's a similar thing with Mark from Invincible. So I don't know if you can actually take that at face value. But Solar is vastly faster than light. He should scale vastly faster than Power Boy Earthquake, who was able to react to light speed attacks from way back in the original Power Boy show. So he is vastly faster than light. There is no way that you could have been outplayed by Garo, no matter how many parallel worlds exist. See, this is why I don't take his statements at face value. He's glazing Saitama. Even then, within this own statement, he contradicts himself. First, he calls it a mere hypothesis, and then says, based on the so called, meaning he doesn't actually believe in this stuff because he's speaking in a satire tone, calling it a so called parallel world or multiverse theory. And then he says, but I suspect that this code came from one of the countless parallel worlds, which is kind of true, but not really. It is kind of true, but not in a literal sense, because what really happened was Saitama coming back in time, changing the past, which caused the future to be a different one. It is from a parallel timeline, but not in a literal sense. And here's another one. He says, the death of him and all the other heroes right before your eyes, you would have transcend time and space to save us all. This is a glazing statement right here. You can literally read what he actually meant here. The death of him and all the other heroes right before your eyes, which will lead him to have transcend space and time to save them all. Meaning he would have transcend space and time even if it meant saving them. And this is also in context to the fact that Garo helped Saitama to go back in time. This is why I don't take Geno's statement at face value, because he's very contradictive. Yes, he is faster than light. He's vastly faster than light, actually. I did made a video on it. Let me check. It was in a short video. Here it is. This is for you, Alexander. You made. There has been a trend going on which is gorilla versus 100 man. I know I am late to this. My simple answer to the people who think that Pogo Boy does not have faster than light speed. I know some people are going to say that this isn't speed of light attack. It doesn't necessarily have to be speed of light. But there is another clip here in which a Jojo, the guy in the red suit, literally slowed down time, yet the beam was still shown to be in its own constant speed, just like how a speed of light should be. And to top it off, this is. Yeah, that feat was faster than light. Like, I forgot his name. He was able to dodge light speed attack from a Dudu, and Solar should vastly be faster than that. All Genos is talking about is how Saitama is such a hero that he will even time travel to save others. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what Saitama was actually Genos was actually referencing. Man, this stream went awfully bad. Who the fuck sent that shit? Wait, actually, I can look at it. Motherfucker. Epic 99x2. Super Solos GT, that's not even a fucking debate. But a lot of people think that GT Solo is super, so that's their own opinion, and it's Super Sonic GT is my opinion, so yeah. Man, the stream is going terribly, and I think I should end the stream here. But let me ask Drip first if he's actually coming back or not. He obviously can dodge that domain. The the point is, if he accidentally or plays around too much and gets caught within that domain, he's cooked. He can't do anything after that to survive the domain. He's not someone with multiple brains and stuff, so he's cooked. There is a way that he can actually survive the domain if he's split into 7 different elements or 5 different elements. He then can actually survive the domain, because then the domain will only be targeting the main power boy or one of the elemental power boys. Naruto and Sasuke full power. Goku play baseball. Yeah, if you don't know, Naruto's Earth is way bigger than that. Between I did said that I will make a video between Naruto versus Saitama, which I still haven't done because I went, I quitted YouTube for a while, so I wasn't able to do that. I think that should be my second next video after the My Hero Academia versus One Punch Man. Not really. You don't actually kill them, but they're just parts of Power Boy's personality, right? You can't actually kill personalities. If you take away Power Boy's elemental power of solar, thunderstorm, and etc., depending on which elemental you took away from Power Boy, that personality will go back to the main Power Boy. The elements just divides main Power Boy's personalities. Like take ego, pride, and etc. These are different personalities, right? And Power Boy can, let's say, there are three personalities of someone, and Po'boy splits into three different elements. Now, those three personalities are divided separately from each other. That's what the elementals actually do. Since Grip is not coming back, I think I should end the stream here and maybe debunk that video in the next another stream. Okay, then see you guys, because this stream is not going well at all. 3, 2, 1.